Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarveta Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vrindaya Tulasi Devya Priya Kesavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Praidevi Satyavati Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kirpa Sindhuvyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Dandavat pranams, dear devotees, good morning. Welcome to a new day, welcome to a new moment. Today we will continue reading the divine guidance of our divine master, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaja. He has given us his divine words, he has given us this guidance, and we can read it, try to approach it in a humble way so that we can continue our service to our Guru and to the Vaishnavas happily, in a happy mood. So, let's rewind a little bit. We're reading the second section of this book. The second section are excerpts from letters by Srila Govinda Maharaj. The first section was about lectures by Srila Govinda Maharaj. And we are reading what is called hand-carved gems. This is what the second section is about. And more specifically, a devotee, some devotees asked the following questions to Srila Govinda Maharaj. 5 different questions. What are your thoughts about maintaining the standard of behavior acceptable to an initiated disciple, and about requesting disciples to chant a minimum of 16 rounds as had been established by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in the recent past? That's one. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the answer to this question was providing a little bit of historical context about the times of Bhagavan Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then concluding that now Srila Bhakti Rakshar Sri Radha Goswami Maharaj, in a merciful way, gave the chance to Western devotees to chant at least a minimum of 4 rounds. But the goal should be 16 or even more. Then the second question: what is the proper conception of Gurudev's order to serve with devotion in a family of devotees? ISKCON, designed by the Gurudev Srila Prabhupada for the perpetuation of the disciple service to the Lord. What is the proper conception of the Gurudev's order to serve with devotion in a family of devotees? ISKCON, designed by the Gurudev Srila Prabhupada for the perpetuation of the disciples' service to the Lord. That was question number 2. Question number 3 was: if an institution such as ISKCON has discrepancies, should it not be maintained and given time to mature? Question number 4: should the devotees working now on your behalf try to lure settled but neophyte devotees away from ISKCON to your service. Rather than be encouraged to serve Srila Prabhupada and his servants in spreading the glories of the holy name and in making spiritual advancement through the vehicle of ISKCON, and should such activities be encouraged by your workers or not? And 5. Should the books presented by Srila Prabhupada be distributed by those in your service, even including those who will become your newly first initiated disciples? How else can we avoid minimizing Srila Prabhupada's importance to the strength of the Sankirtan movement than to read and distribute these books, even side by side with those published by the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math? So, question 2 to 5 they're related to Srila Prabhupada, to ISKCON, and its relationship with their devotees, with his devotees. So now let us continue reading the divine words of Srila Gurudev, how he is answering to these questions. So, okay. Let's try to read where Braja Mohini Didi left off and a couple pages behind, just to remember the context a little bit. Okay. Here's also some vital point that we must not forget. Even though it may not be for public mass distribution, that is the position of the real and exclusive devotee of Krishna. Is above the rules. And such devotees can come from anywhere and everywhere. And from another angle, we can say that the mercy of the great Vaishnavas can make anyone immediately into a good devotee. In this connection, we can discuss the shlokas of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Jata Shrado Madka Tasu and Apichet Suduru Rakcharo. Therefore, we must try to consider everything in a harmonizing way, otherwise we may be offenders. Give me one moment. Jasmin Shastre Purani Bahari Vaktirna Drishyate Shrotavyam Naivatat Shastram Yadivrama Svayam Badet. Do not hear any scripture which does not glorify Krishna Bhakti and Krishna Bhaktas. Even if Lord Brahma will sit in front of you and recite any other type of scripture, don't listen. It was for this purpose that Srila Swami Maharaj formed ISKCON. He wanted ISKCON to be a pure place of devotional association. Especially we are to avoid Vaishnava Aparda. Always there must be some imperfection in this world. But if ISKCON remains at least 60% pure, then carefully the devotees can serve there. Carefully means that devotees will be careful to keep good association and to avoid those who have any tendency to be offensive or disrespectful to the Vaishnavas and Krishna Bhakti. About myself, I can say clearly that I have made a promise to my Srila Guru Maharaj, and at least I can say I'm trying 100% to practice and preach according to his wish. When traveling to our destination, if we come across someone who is sick or injured and they beg assistance, naturally we will also try to give some assistance by way of relief work. When an ISKCON Acharya does some activities that even the material people will not do, then how can we agree? And in which way we can I'm sorry. And in which way can the sincere seeker be faithful to that acharya? Such seekers want no mundane things from ISKCON. They need the seeds of Krishna consciousness and the association of good Vaishnavas. They need to have the seeds planted happily in the heart, and to get more and more inspiration to practice Krishna consciousness. And they can inspire others also by their example as good ISKCON devotees. But we cannot ignore the fact that inside ISKCON many of the leaders have proceeded in a very mechanical way and mundane way. You are putting a very hard question for me to answer about the ISKCON mission. In those earlier days when Srila Swami Maharaj established the now exalted International Society for Krishna Consciousness, his mission was always receiving proper nourishment through his divine association. Perhaps everything was not going fully perfectly, but on the whole, we can say that his mission was the only hope for the Western world to happily practice Krishna consciousness. It is true that after his disappearance, some disturbance came in his beloved ISKCON mission, and it is a very usual thing. In every mission everywhere, it must be expected that when the exalted sun is going to set, some illusionary environment will try to influence overall that mission. I cannot say that in Srila Sai Maharaj, Jai Mahaprabhu. Jai Mahaprabhu. In every mission everywhere, it must be expected that when the exalted sun is going to set, some illusory environment will try to influence overall that mission. I cannot say that in Srila Swami Maharaj's time there was no influence or illusion, but by his divine power, everything was immediately harmonized. Everybody will try to make his mission perfect, and I think all the auspicious and great acharyas in this world try to make their missions perfect and spend their whole energy for that. And I have no doubt they were all the well-wishers of all Jiva souls. I think the ISKCON mission is completely different from other missions. We can consider it is a God-gifted organization for the super benefit of the conditioned souls through His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Is a Shakti-avesha avatara. Otherwise, no man can make such a mission all over the world within 5 years. It is a very short time he widely gave the chance to receive the supreme goal of life, unalloyed devotion to Krishna, in the line of Srimad Mahaprabhu. In the time of Srila Swami Maharaj, whenever news would come from any corner of the world of the many persons chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and practicing pure devotional life, at that time I saw the face of Srila Guru Maharaj to be greatly exalted, and he openly praised Srila Swami Maharaj's divine activities and glories in front of everybody. I also saw his similar divine expression whenever Srila Swami Maharaj will come and report his missionary news to Srila Guru Maharaj. They were both very great, and their basic discussion was very high and harmonious about the spreading real Krishna consciousness. Srila Swami Maharaj himself selected a few leaders for maintaining and spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world for his mission. That was called the GVC, and he was proud of them. At that time, my own feelings were none different from ISKCON, and I was very happy to see the mood of the devotees. I did not get the chance to mix with everybody. It was also not possible. But I was surprised to see the depth of knowledge of Krishna consciousness in those I saw. Actually, I received much nice impression and enthusiasm from them, including Sripad Bhavavananda Maharaj, Sripad Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Sripad Achyutananda Prabhu, etc. I still have many friends in the ISKCON society, and they have a very good mood. They are living within the preaching and practicing life, and I highly respect them. But you know that after the disappearance of Srila Swami Maharaj, many things have happened in that society. Not only that, but many of the great devotee personalities showed their very unfortunate form, and that was painful for their followers and many of the followers of Srila Swami Maharaj. And it was very painful for myself also. Those confused persons eagerly sought secure shelter for their spiritual life, but they could no longer fully trust others in that society. At the same time, they did not want to leave Krishna consciousness because living in their hearts was the seed of Krishna consciousness planted by Srila Swami Maharaj. Srila Swami Maharaj often said, I am ISKCON. That means that all the property of Krishna consciousness, the society he formed, was living with him, and he could not tolerate that any disturbance will come to his preaching life, and he will try to remove such disturbances by any means. But he will try to remove such a disturbance. But after his divine grace disappearance, some wave of illusion in the form of ego immediately tried to spread the bad influence. You know that many have been affected by that influence. By those infected persons' power, many good souls were ousted, and Srila Guru Maharaj tried to give them some hope and shelter in the form of relief work. At present, I am trying to serve His divine chair to the best of my limited capacity. Actually, Srimad Swami Maharaj organized the ISKCON Society, so there can be practicing of Krishna consciousness under proper guardianship. And that is the only goal of life for all conditioned souls. This is not only the preaching of His divine grace, but it is also the preaching of Srimad Mahaprabhu, his associates, and the preceptorial line after him. No doubt it has manifested in the world at large, especially in the West, through Srila Swami Maharaj, but the many disciples of Srila Saraswati Thakur and of Srila Guru Maharaj continued according to their own capacity to preach and practice Krishna consciousness. We see everywhere that each do not have the identical preaching method and mode of Srimad Mahaprabhu. Tirnada pi sunichena tarura pi sahisnuna amanina manadena. And they were not all free from Vaishnava Abharada. Therefore, many difficulties arise in every society, and even our society is not fully free from that. We need to do good for ourselves and for others. We want to live the ideal of mundanity. Live, L-E-A-V-E, live. The ideal of mundanity, and we must try to achieve the super beneficial transcendental service plane, which is really our life's goal, through chanting the Maha Mantra without offense in the association of the devotees and preaching. The chanting without offense is so very essential, and if that feeling does not come to us, we will not get the proper beneficial results. I feel that is very important for us now. I heard a phrase in English from Srila Guru Maharaj: the rank is but the Gaineya stamp. Man is the gold for that. Actually, an institution of Sampradaya is like the Gaineya stamp, but the real value is to be found in the quality of the gold. Whatever it is to be found. Otherwise, only in its town, particular country, will the value certified by the Gaineya stamp be given. In another way, we can say, Svadeshe pujate raja vidvan sarvatra pujate. Qualified persons have value everywhere. But if a king is not qualified, he will only receive honor in his own kingdom. We can also see many nicely designed uniforms displayed in shop windows. But we need to proceed to our destination if we can understand wholeheartedly this importance. We cannot sit back and wait for that. If we can have both the man and the designed uniform, that would be very good for us. I am always trying to harmonize with all environments and I never advise anyone to make any disturbance or offense to others. I want to try to make everyone my friend, and I want blessings from all of our sister concerns. And if unknowingly I may make any offense to them, I am always praying for their forgiveness. If I can proceed with this mood, I must remain free from Vaishnava aparada. Already everything has been given in the guidance of the Goswamis, but the successive acharyas distributed that same treasure but according to the receiving capacity of the aspirants. This process is always going on, whether in the west or in the east. And in this way lakhs of people have come. Even Srila Saraswati Thakur did not give many things to us, because we are not qualified. Not only that, but Sriman Mahaprabhu himself did not give such things, because they are not for mass distribution. Therefore, the conclusion is that they gave everything about Krishna consciousness, no doubt, but not for everybody. Also, all are not qualified to receive that. Therefore, it is said, Antaranga laya kari rasha asvaran vairanga laya karinam sankirtana. I sometimes hear the disciples of Srila Guru Maharaj and myself, they are heavily preaching their conception akin to throwing out the baby with the bath water. But that is not my preaching. My preaching is to be humble, tolerant, and to give honor to others. And that is the way of Mahaprabhu's teachings also. It is my prayer to everyone to try to take to heart the teachings of all our predecessor acharyas for the real benefit and progress of everyone in a harmonious way. All have come for Krishna consciousness and they have faith in that conception. To see them going away is very painful. I want to help them, and if anyone approaches me for help, it is my duty to try to help them according to my capacity. In summary to the answers to your questions. 1. Let's read the questions again, because we're going to read the summaries. Dandavat Gangalila Didi, Dandavat Migan Mikula Makula. Dandavat Vimal Krishna Prabhu and Bhakti Bhumi. Good to have you here. So, Jai Mahaprabhu. So, we are reading hand-carved gems, which are excerpts from letters by His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj. And so far, Srila Govinda Maharaj has been answering to 5 different questions, and they were really related to ISKCON. So the first question was, what are your thoughts about maintaining the standard of behavior acceptable to an initiated disciple, and about requesting disciples to chant a minimum of 16 rounds as had been established by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in the recent past? So a summary of this answer given by Srila Govinda Maharaj is the following. Concerning the standard that Srila Swami Maharaj established in the Western world for the behavior of the devotees and the chanting of the Mahamantra, that standard must be beneficial for all, but the special consideration about chanting a minimum of 4 rounds is also agreeable to remind us of the mercy of Srila Saraswati Thakur as well as Srila Guru Maharaj. The second question was, what is the proper conception of the Gurudev's order to serve with devotion in a family of devotees, ISKCON, designed by the Gurudev Srila Prabhupada for the perpetuation of the disciple service of the Lord? The answer given by Srila Govinda Maharaj is the following. Srila Gurudev's orders are the super directives for the disciple, and without hesitation the disciple must follow that. ISKCON is a society for practicing Krishna consciousness, and it was unquestionable in the time of Srila Swami Maharaj. That is, he said, I am ISKCON. If after the disappearance of His Divine Grace, that society can exist within that same conception of quality, then the devotees will unhesitatingly try to serve there if they will get the chance. Question number 3. If an institution, such as ISKCON, has discrepancies, should it not be maintained and given time to mature? The answer is, maturity and progress in spiritual life have no limit. But in the starting stages, there are certain directives. Question number 4. Should the devotees working now on your behalf try to lure settled but neophyte devotees away from ISKCON to your service, rather than be encouraged to serve Srila Prabhupada and his servants in spreading the glories of the holy name and in making a spiritual advancement through the vehicle of ISKCON? And should such activities be encouraged by your workers or not? The answer for this question given by Srila Gurudev is the following. Srila Rupa Goswami said, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mathihi Kriyatham Jati Kuto Pilavyate Tatra Laulyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukritair Nalavyate. If anyone sincerely seeks with a full mood of hankering to search Raganuga loving Bhakti, we must encourage them. But we are not to disturb in any way the mission of others or the natural and devotional environment. Srila Guru Maharaj said that we are to have sympathetic dealings with nature and not to cause any disturbance. But along the way of spiritual advancement, if we will see that anyone is in trouble and they need help, or that their vehicle needs repair, or they want a lift to their destination, or in any way they are in a difficult position and need help for their relief, we will try to help them as affectionate friends. Actually, we all need spiritual progress within the line of Srimad Mahaprabhu, as well as the Rupanuga Sampradaya. Therefore, we shall try to help each other in that line through our mood of service energy. But we will never try to disturb other service activities or missions. And question number 5. Should the books presented by Srila Prabhupada be distributed by those in your service, even including those who will become your newly first initiated disciples? How else can we avoid minimizing Srila Prabhupada's importance to the strength of the Sankirtan movement than to read and distribute these books, even side by side with those published by the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission? This is the answer given by Srila Govinda Maharaj. And in answer to your last question, when I claimed that I was perhaps the first mass distributor of Back to Godhead door to door from 7 Sitakanta Banerjee Lane, Calcutta, then where is any difficulty for us to distribute the books of Srila Swami Maharaj? If the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust will give chance to do that service, I can say that I think everyone headed by Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Swami Maharaj will be very happy to see their books distributed side by side. I may mention your grace as an example. You have approached me with thoughtful, sincere inquiry, and naturally I am trying to give proper reply and guidelines according to my capacity. But my English is very insufficient. I cannot express fully my thought through the English language, and I think my answer will invite more questions. That is, everything is not sufficiently expressed, but only briefly I have expressed my heart. In this way, I cannot ignore all the sincere seekers and inquirers. But personally, I consider your grace to be qualified Vaishnava and merciful to the fallen such as myself. I hope this letter meets you in a steady practice of Krishna consciousness. Again, with my humble Dandavat pranams, your affectionately Swami Bhakti Sundar Govinda. P.S. My time is very short. If you want to ask any more questions, please try to see me. At that time, we can sit together and discuss. All right. It's a blue day in Salt Lake City, full of color. The trees are green. Spring is here. And it's another day in Sri Chaitanya SCSMission, trying to cover the service of Srimati Srileka Didi. She's gone, and she's still gonna be gone for a couple more weeks. She will be back, and we will still have the opportunity to hear from her the scriptures, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We miss reading that every morning. In the meantime, we shall just try our best to perform our duties. All right. So let's continue reading the excerpts from the letters of Srila Gurudev. Here's another question that someone is asking to Srila Gurudev. Let's see, what is this about? Recently I came across the books of Srila Bhakti Raksasira Maharaj, and I find them to be a great source of inspiration in my devotional life. However, some of my friends who are disciples of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada are discouraging me from reading these books and associating with your disciples. I am in a dilemma and asking your help. This is a good question. The devotee is asking, like, some of my friends who are disciples of Srila Prabhupada are discouraging me from reading the books of Srila Guru Maharaj, and even are discouraging me of having the association of the devotees of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. So what should I do? The answer of Srila Gurudev is, you have been a devotee for several years, but I do not know if you are aware of the intimate relationship between Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada and our Srila Guru Maharaj. I was with Srila Guru Maharaj personally for maybe 40 years and saw his relationship with all the different devotees. For about 10 years of that time, the Calcutta branch of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat was in Srila Swami Maharaj's own premises next to his house. He would regularly come for many hours of discussions with Srila Guru Maharaj. Also, at that time, by the instruction of Srila Guru Maharaj, I learned Bhagavad Gita from Srila Swami Maharaj. Also up until Srila Swami Maharaj's last days, in this world he wanted Srila Guru Maharaj to be the head of his ISKCON mission. Actually, there are many things that the devotees do not know. Therefore, some misunderstanding has sometimes come. Anyhow, by the grace of Srila Guru Maharaj, the position of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat is clear. It was always the wish of Srila Guru Maharaj not to disturb others' missions. But our mission is one of relief work for the spiritual seekers. You're reading his books and associating with his devotees. That is, you can understand something of his exalted mood. Now, another question is being asked to Srila Gurudev. You have much faith in my ability to manage, but I cannot see how it is possible to carry out your order. And I fear that if I continue, then the situation will get much worse. Please, Maharaj, remove me from this position and appoint someone else, and I will try to serve that devotee. If it is your desire that I continue, then I shall have to try again, but I am deeply frustrated and feel hopeless. I wonder who is the devotee who is asking this question to Srila Gurudev. Srila Maharaj replied, in our practitioner's life, for the time being, many disturbing things and also frustration must come. But with our deep service, intention and faith, by the mercy of Srila Guru Maharaj, everything will be vanquished. Every morning in winter, we shall not see the clear sun, as some days must be foggy, but we do not stop our duty because of that. Sri Krishna said in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Matra sparsas tu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukha daha agama payino nityash tams titikshas vabharata. What is necessary is only our capacity to tolerate. And that is also one kind of test. If I think of my own life history, almost every day I have spent with anxiety in my service life. But I'm happy with that. And that is, I am thinking that Krishna is taking something from my energy for his divine service by making me worried. When a good boy, after trying hard, fails his class exam, what does his father do? Does he oust him from the house or give him nourishment to give him more enthusiasm? We must remember this. Alabdeba vinashteba bhaksha chadana sadane abiklava matir bhutva harime vadya smarmet. Therefore, we must try with our double energy to fulfill the desire for Srila Guru Maharaj for the super benefit of our spiritual lives. Whatever is my duty is exclusively mine. Whatever is my duty is exclusively mine. I cannot give any share to anyone to make a massacre. If I know that only I can do the duty that has come to me, then I must do that. Those who can accept the challenge of service to Guru Gauranga, they can do many things, even beyond their capacity. By the grace of their lordships. Therefore, don't you worry. I can remember one phrase in Bengali poetry that says that even if the whole world will leave their service with a crying mood, I will not run, but I will try. Srila Guru Maharaj many times recited this story of Rabindranath Tagore. Yadi tora daka shune keu na ashe tave eshala kalore. If nobody will come with you, you must proceed alone, without even a stick. It is necessary to be steady in your point of position of service. It is a very high thing, but for your attention I can say humbly, but beyond my jurisdiction, in remembrance of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srimati Radharani cannot tolerate to give any other party her divine, exclusive service share for Krishna. I think it is enough for you remembrance. We have got this very rare human body, intelligence, energy, and many qualifications for the service of Krishna. Therefore, we cannot allow ourselves to make a massacre of our service mind in exchange for some part of the mundane. Dear Prabhu, don't you be worried for any illusory environment. You must think that Srila Guru Maharaj is always with us, watching us and taking care of us. It must be we will finally get a victorious service position by His divine mercy. We are very fortunate. That is, we are enlightened by Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Swami Maharaj's divine service life. After Srimad Mahaprabhu, this kind of wave of devotion has not come out until the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. That wave has been blown all over the world by Srila Swami Maharaj and Srila Guru Maharaj in order to successfully smash the illusory environment And now the whole world is chanting Hare Krishna. By hook or by crook, they established Krishna consciousness. But if we think how much obstruction came in their lifetime, we must forget our own sorrow and difficulties. Srila Dasa Goswami said that when you will be in a very much troubled position from your inner enemies, Kama, Krodha, Lova, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, you chant loudly the name of your protector, the Vaishnavas. Pray to them for the protection of your spiritual divine life. And if you are sincere, you must get help from them. Then I can only say, proceed, proceed, and proceed, and foggy sky must timely leave your mission. Proceed, proceed, and proceed, and the foggy sky must timely leave your vision. Divine guidance by His Divine Grace Swami Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. We're gonna stop there because honestly it feels like too much. It's too much. And yeah, Srila Gurudev was giving nourishment to a devotee that was disencouraged. The devotee was like, yeah, he was disencouraged to do his service. But Srila Gurudev said, just like in the winter, in the morning it's foggy, you cannot really see colors, you cannot really see the sun. You still continue doing your service, even though it's foggy. And remembering all the obstacles and all the difficulties that all our predecessor acharyas, all of our gurus have gone through, then you're going to be alright. Just thinking about all the obstacles Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhagavan Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur went through. Yeah, our obstacles are just minimum. So we must proceed, and then this foggy obstacle will leave our vision. Alright, dear devotees. Let's chant Hari Haraya together. Wait just a second. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Simadhusudana Giridhari Gopina Balaramokana. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Vadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanata Mata Raghunatha Shiva Gopala Mata Dasa Raghunatha Jai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana Chahote Vinana Shavista Purana Jai Gosai Jara Mohita Radasa Tasavara Pada Renu Mora Panchagrasa Tadira Charana Sevi Bhaktasa Nivasa Janame Mora Avilasa Jai Gosai Jave Vraje Koila Vasa Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakasha Anande Volo Hari Bhaja Vrindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Parimadai Jamana Shri Guru Vaishnava Para Parma Koriyasha Hari Nam Sankirtana Kokinaro Tamadasa Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Raksha Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Or Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Ki Jai. All the assembly devotees Ki Jai. Kol Kartils Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Guru. Alright. Let's say goodbye to our dear devotees that are watching us from Facebook. They're very, very friendly, very loyal. They're all mornings they're here. Ganga Lila Didi, Dandavats, hope you're doing alright. Yeah, I'll see you on Saturday, back to Bhakti basis class with Madhusudana Maharaj and all the devotees. Megan Makulo, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Please let me know. Dandavat. Bhima Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat dear Prabhuji. Hope you're doing alright with Didi, with your family. And Bhakti Boni, of course, Bhakti Boni, she's every day here as well. Dandavat pranams to you all. Please forgive me for my offenses. Please forgive me for my clumsiness for doing this service. But yeah, thank you. And Dandavat pranams. Have a great day, a glorious day.